Hi, and welcome to another video in the RHCE video series. Today's video is on use conditionals to control play execution. So an Ansible condition is literally just a condition that you can set to set whether you can actually execute a particular play or a particular playbook. So we've kind of done some of these things before. We've got things like when. You can also do things like loops. I'll cover it here as well, just as part of a cover it a bit more off. But yeah, basically using the when, and you can have different conditions based on an output of a command or yeah, that kind of thing, really, to then pull out that information to use that to decide whether to actually execute something or not, because obviously you just don't want to just execute stuff willy-nilly or on across systems, like restarting the service if the service is actually currently active and running okay. You may be checking for a particular failure state or something like that, or a PID been missing or something like that on the system. Then you can we can safely say it's not running in a nice manner, for example, and you can use that then to then execute the relevant command as required. So let's just go ahead and do an example. So let me just full screen this and sudo bash. In my root directory, I have the old privilege escalation directory I've used quite a few times now. Let's do a clear. Okay. So I've got an inventory file. It looks a bit like this. So I've got three clients. One of them's what's called a web server that actually exists on 2.8. We've got a file server, a fictional one that exists on 2.10. These both run HTTPD, obviously with different targets in this case. So this one's hosting like a file sharing system, and this has just got the general web front end, and then we've got all the different other we've got all the clients listed in the clients group here. So we could obviously target systems via the different groups, but if we want clients from only a couple of clients, then you may have to create another group. But we can also do another way, which I'll just show you here. So let's just create a new playbook. Let's call it another start HTTPD, but in a slightly different format. Okay, so do name start HTTPD. Do hosts all tasks. We're going to run the systemd, and tasks we're going to run the systemd command, and we're going to do name, and then HTTPD, and then state. We're going to do name equals HTTPD. We can also do like this, state equals started, and then we have when, and we can do Ansible underscore host is equal to a specific condition. So we can set a condition that the Ansible host must be equal to 10.02.8, and we can also say or Ansible underscore host is equal to, oops, make sure we get spaces here, and 10.0.2.10, I think the other one was. So we've got name, HTTPD, when Ansible host. Okay, so it's only going to execute if on those hosts that are equal to these addresses, and not any others. So let's give it a go. Let's see how wrong I've gone first. So Ansible hyphen playbook minus I inventory and then start HTTPD. So it doesn't like, okay. It doesn't like how I formatted it there. Ah, yeah, okay, usual stuff. I've missed a comma there and I'll just do it like that. So there's no worries about the formatting here. And yeah, that looks nice. We could do something with here, but it's just easier to put it in one line sometimes. Let's just clear this horrible error and just run this again. Let's see how we go. Okay, we've got something going on. Let's see which systems it runs to. It's gathering facts on all the systems. Yeah, as you can see, it's gathered the facts on all the systems. Obviously, it won't run it against the system that's unreachable in this case. But yeah, it's completed successfully. So that looks good. So we could potentially do a... So basically it will filter only at that level. So we could have a different command for different things. So different horses for different courses. But because obviously it's unreachable, it won't actually execute it anyway, unfortunately. But that's all good. That's just the nature of my environment. Let's add some additional options to this. So rather than having this particular when, let's leave it as hosts all. We'll change this when to, yeah, okay, let's run a HTTP status command, and then we're going to extrapolate the detail. So I'm going to run a command directly on system ctl httpd, and then we're going to register http underscore status, register as a variable. We then are going to run this command only if, and we'll just do a couple of deletes to clean this up. And we're only going to run the systemd command if the state is stopped. So what we're going to do is when httpd underscore status dot standard out dot find equals, I think it'll be stopped. We can try stopped. And then is not equal to -1. So let's give that a go first. So it should, in its current state, because it should be running already, this shouldn't do anything much yet. But let's give it a go. It said it skipped it. So that looks pretty good. So let's just go to SSH. I think I did the okay. 10.0.2.8. Okay, I'm on the client 1. So now it's just do a system ctl stop httpd exit and rerun this command. So we shouldn't see a skip this time. So I didn't get a match by the looks of it. But the good thing is we've got lots of information to go on. So I am looking at, I've got active, inactive, dead. So I could probably match against dead. It doesn't sound overly nice. It looks like it's, couldn't it's usual gumph. So I think I'm going to use the word inactive instead as a better word to search for. So let's go back and update this script. Yep, let's go back and find the HTTPD. So it should be inactive. Inactive. And right quit. Let's run this again. And let's see what we get. We've gone OK. We still have... Okay, so we're getting an error message, which is the first command. So it's running the command. And we've got a failure of systemctl status httpd, the time, etc. Message, non-zero return code. So that means it's completely stopping the script from running any further because it's not ignoring the errors. So what we need to do is add another line into our playbook, which I will do. So now let me just go back into the playbook and just add a new line. So here, ignore errors, true. There we go. So now it's actually gone through and ignored the error message. So we've got the ignoring. We still have the wall of red, which never looks good. However, if we run this again, we should now see we're in a good and happy place now. Okay, we go with the facts. We then see the task is run and we skipped because we don't need to run it again. So yeah, that's cool. You can also use things like you could have a notification go out. You could have say email, or you could have it connect up to some kind of other notification service. You could log something to a specific log. You could do all kinds of things. Yeah, but this is just again a pretty simple example. I think the next one I just wanted to briefly touch on. I think I may have run through it fairly quickly, but before is just to do stuff around a for loop. I should just do something around a loop. They're all pretty simple. Again, you just have the with underscore items, and it basically allows you to specify a number of items to run, and then it will just do each one by one. So it could be a command or a number of commands you want it to run, and it will just basically run each one by one on that list. So you can pretty much do anything. Again, we could we could do a number of things here. I'm just trying to think of a good example. So we've got the command here, so we can just do, let's do another command. We can do with underscore items. We want to run, is a very simple example. Yes, I'm just gonna git clone for easy RSA, which is this difficult authority application. So I'm installing git, and then I'm going to do a git clone. Nothing too exciting, but at least we're going to give that a go as well. So we'll just, maybe I'll get rid of all this HTTPD, just be a bit lazy here and just repurpose my script. Looks good, and we'll call it, whoops, I'll draw it. Okay, and then we call it install easy RSA. Okay. So we've got two items there. We could obviously have more stuff we could run. We're just doing this very simple example again. We're going to run it against all. Again, I'm not really bothered too much. So it's gathering facts. I only got one client. What I did forget is with items, I need to specify it to run the item. So That should do. I think I need quotes around it as well. Then that should run now. Let's see. Oh, whoops. Yeah, I'm putting the wrong place now, so we're not doing well today. So we're going to put that here. So I've got to get it to run the item. And then you're going to say with the item, if it makes sense. Okay, so the with items is this, and then so it's basically going to replace this. So it's going to run the command over and over again with the items of these lines, basically. That should be correct now. Let's see how we go. Whoops. Okay, now we've got some spacing issues. Yep, we should have that aligned with this. Let's get this in a bit of a nicer place too. Okay, that should be happy now. Let's just clear and try again. That looks happy. So it'll take a few seconds to run because it's going to do the git install and then the git clone, and we should have some magic happen. You know, Ansible's doing something if it takes a while to to come back with anything. So we've got the one lines install done. So we've got the dnf install git. Yep, it's got a warning here, of course. Consider using the DNF module rather than running DNF. If you need to do these commands because DNF is inefficient, that's fine. So you can obviously use the DNF module. In this case, I want to do different things, so I don't want to have to call the module specifically. I don't really care the output, I just want it to install. It looks like it's completed. I didn't specify a directory, so it would have been whatever the working directory was, which is probably /root. We can go and check if this is successfully done. So let's go to client 1, which is 10.02.8. Just clear the screen here. So we're on the client 1 now. So it's going to do an rpm -qa to grep for the package. There's a few, yep. So it will be just git-core. That should return a few less, yeah. So we've got a core and a core doc. We just do that at the top here because otherwise it's a bit messy. So you got git core doc, okay. And in my directory we have easy-RSA, and if I just do a easy-RSA on that, we've copied the git the repository correctly. So we could have done lots more other stuff. We could have actually made it build the application, execute it, and all that kind of good stuff, and basically be completely hands off. So if you was building 10 of these servers, you can see how quickly these kind of things would make your life a bit easier and also repeatable. So if you have say you have a shared directory for these servers, you could have Ansible go and grab the installation package, do the installation, copy the relevant files to the local server, do all the configuration, start the service, check the service is running correctly. You can even check inside the config files to make sure everything looks good, and then you can say your server's safely aligned. And then if you have any issues in the future in production, you then just go and rerun the script over the top of the system, and it will again make sure everything's realigned with the exact specifications you provided and that were working previously. So the Ansible is brilliant about that. So I've had, again, numerous issues in production where we can basically realign the system using Ansible, and that rebaseline can help ensure the systems are at the correct place, and it also means that you don't have any nagging doubts. Is it a misconfiguration in a small piece of code somewhere, and if it is, then we'll soon see that the file's been changed. Cool. That's pretty much all I wanted to cover here. I hope the video has been useful to you, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you. Right now I've just popped up on the screen my TeePublic page. That's for any kind of CSG merch, if that's anything you're interested in. Got my Ko-fi page for any kind donations, if that's something you're interested in. Yep, and also just the details of my Discord server, so that's the best place to ask questions. Also, we've got, obviously, you can ask questions in the comments and I'll try and help out where I can, but Discord place is a great place. We've got a bit of a community going there, and you can reach out to myself and also the community, and someone will try and help you. Yeah, it's a great community we're building there. Well, thanks again, and I'll see you at the next video. Cheers.